Okay, so finally we are back with a video. I finally made found some time to record a new one. Past couple of weeks has been pretty crazy busy, and I did a poll on X a while ago, asking people what they want more to see, and I was expecting more like copycat and all those fancy new things, but well, no, turns out it's camera tracking. So I said, all right, that's interesting. So that's what we are doing today in a different approach. I have a couple of videos on my channel already. I will put like a card or a link in the description so you guys can check them out. They are useful. They approach camera tracking in a different way than you guys are seeing on this one. On the other camera tracking videos, I try to use the auto camera tracking, the auto tracking stuff, which can give you very good results in a bunch of cases, and it's more like a beginner scenario. And you know, in some cases you have pretty simple shots then that the normal auto track will be just fine. So, but this one I decided to do using user tracks to start the solve, and then I add automatic camera tracking points as well. This is the footage I got from the Action VFX free footage database, and they have like a free program for people to test and try. So that's what you're seeing here. I'm also going to put a link in the description of this video. So the task of doing a manual track to solve the camera is basically to get as many tracking points at any given time in different distances of the camera as possible during all the shot. So basically, well, I think it's 8, the minimum 8 or 7, but I usually go for much more to have more precision. So at any given time you need at least 8 or 9 or 7, which is the minimum, good tracking at different distances. Like, it doesn't make sense to have a bunch of good tracks in the same distance from the camera, like in the same depth plane. That's not gonna help. So you should be looking at different points, even if they are a little bit behind or a little bit in front of the ones you have. That will certainly help to build the solve. In this case, the Action VFX, they provide the film back and sensor size. It's an Alexa LF Mini, I believe. So you have that information. There is no information on the lens, so that you can just put on unknown lens, like unknown distortion. So here's a point that, you know, when I tracked it backwards, it had like a little jump. So, you know, this is just me using like a normal tracking, a normal tracker, and getting the points to work the best way possible. So, so I'm gonna do this video just like I did a couple of videos before, where I'm gonna explain shortly what happens. This video is sped up by 2 times only, so you don't see me clicking that slowly on stuff. Yeah, and then I'll probably put some music and so on. So this is the point where I jump from the tracker to the camera tracking. So the film back size you guys see there is the one I found on the Action VFX information about the shot. So if you at least know which camera it is, you can get that on Google. If you don't know if you know the lens better. If you don't, then well, then you can't. So what you guys are seeing here is me just trying to make like a good automatic tracker, and then I load the tracking data from that tracker I did before. It can take a while, as you can see. If you click a lot, it will crash. So this video, I'll try to not edit out all the moments I faced some problem, because I think it's important for you guys to see how I managed to go around and fix the problems. Yeah, this is not gonna be a one-to-one speed, because I was doing something else at the same time. So, but anyway, so you add the points and then you update the tracking. That's how I do. I do a normal solve and then I add the user track and update the user track for that. And then as I did on my previous videos, you guys can see that I slowly push the numbers down on the error, max error, both numbers down until I would reach like a good solving error. You can see the scene how it is, if it makes sense. And I usually make the scene a uniform scaling a bit bigger. Sometimes 10, sometimes 8, 6. It will depend on what you need to do. You set the ground, like you guys can see here. And then you jump to stick cards on the ground, like you guys can see here. And oops, yeah, that's great. I love when this kind of stuff happens. But anyways, so you create the camera. I usually create this plus stuff that gives me the camera, the distortion, the scene, all of it together. So the trick is to so the goal, not the trick, the goal of this tutorial would be, I think it would be divided in 2 or 3 episodes. The goal is to show you guys what we can extract from the shot once you have a solid model, once you have a good solve, basically. So what kind of stuff you can expect to extract from the shot. So the number one task is to align the ground floor in this case, and this is very interesting to do. I like to rebuild as much as I can if I have the time, of course. Sometimes in real life you don't have the time for this type of stuff, but the goal here for me is to find the right perspective and align the floor. So to stick the plane, you just click on the tracking features in the camera track, and then you first you set the ground plane, and then you create a card on those points. So Nuke will create a card that's already on that position, so you know that this is the ground. That's a giant improvement if you don't have a lot of information on the shot. And then you try to get it to make sense in our shot, like perspective wise, because the ground, I think that's the place I spend most of my time, because I will use the ground as a reference for all of the other stuff I need to build. I will build like the pillars, the back walls, and all that stuff. And once you check if your scene makes sense in 3D, you will use the ground as a reference. So try to find the ground to make sense as much as possible. In this case, it's a construction site, it looks like. So the concrete lines on the floor are not actually straight, which you eventually see when you have more models in place, like the pillars and stuff. You see that they don't make sense. And here this is just me finding out that there is a tiny little distortion. So not a big distortion, and it's possible, who knows. Yeah, so we'll just double check the view metadata if I can see if there's anything out there, but no. Yeah, so the lens is there. Well, if it's working and if this is the result you have, there is some values in the lens distortion node, but they're very low, which is fine as long as it works. It's okay. So I'm just double checking if the floor is really sticking to the footage. Seems to be fine. We need to check the corners and really look closely to see if you find anything strange. And then I'm gonna jump to model builder, because the goal of this tutorial is to show what kind of information or of thing we can extract from the footage once you have a camera tracking. It's not to actually work in a shot, and so the task itself is not to solve the camera. This is not a match move task. This is me showing you guys what would be the approach in comp to do a lot of stuff in the shot, and then starting with the camera tracking and modeling the main objects in the scene. So then your actual task in comp, whatever it is, can be easily done. And you will find, as you guys can see here, that the pillar itself is not 100% a perfect square, or is not 100% facing up. It's not super 100% aligned. That's also something that happens. So especially in a construction like this, that's obviously not done. So the model builder, I have one other tutorial in my channel, in the camera tracking tutorial, that I go a bit more in detail. But quickly, you will build like generic objects, and you need to give it at least 2 frames. So you will find the right depth of the object in 3D space. So as you can see, as soon as you are happy with the position of the pillar, and then if you move the timeline forward, and once you move, it shows you this purple line, and this is the perspective line. So if you move your object in this line, and then it finds like the edge you're looking for, that means that your whole setup is solid. And then you can break it into a geometry. In this case, first I did a one bake. So there is like a group of geometries on all the pillars in the same group. That's possible. And then I will eventually switch and have them all separated. This is just for me to test what happens. So when you have the camera, there's a lot of stuff you can do. When you have the geometry also, there's a lot of stuff you can do on a shot like this. If you use the camera and freeze the frame on the camera, that's actually going to the scanline render. I'm gonna show this right now. So this, without anything, is just the camera projecting the footage itself on the geometry itself. So it's not gonna change anything. You can have UV. So this is just me testing, going around and see if it's making sense. And if you want to stabilize the footage using the camera, you can just freeze the camera that goes inside of the scanline render. And I believe, yeah, that's I'm gonna do right now. So see. So this will freeze the camera, which it's basically will stabilize on the geometry. This is just a few examples of stuff you can do. Yeah, see, it's pretty cool to see. So if you have the geometry in place, which is in the pillars, you can see that the textures of the pillars, they stay in place. So yeah, that opens a lot of options. I'm just showing you guys what happens, if you have all of this stuff working. Okay, great. So I'm gonna go forward and build more geometries using modelbuilder. I'm gonna change and not have like just one big group of geometries, but export the pillars individually and things like that. And then because the idea is to have like to get the most information possible from a shot like this. And you can be very creative. You can have particles flying in your shot, and they will cast like a kind of a better shadows on geometries itself. You can cast light. You can like shine light into the geometries. That's also cool to do. So it opens up a lot of options in your work. And I'm showing now that if you have the objects individually and you freeze the camera, you will basically stabilize the shot on that point. So what you guys are seeing here is just me testing as much as possible to see if it's all making sense before I move forward. And then it looks like it is making sense. So I'm gonna go back and keep building the environment there. Model Builder is very useful tool. It's a comp tool, so I'm sure it's not as nice and full of cool features as some CG guys would say, but for us it really can help a lot. So see, you can see there's a little bit of a it looks like it's sliding a little bit. So sometimes when you put stuff into a place, it finds a crazy perspective. So you just need to find better points and redo it again and delete the previous one and fix it. And then, it's a trial and error. And then you find the geometries to make sense. So that's what you see here. I'm just looking for points which I can 100% say that it's aligned. That's it. So as you move, it's trying to find the perspective of this plane. It doesn't know how far it is because, so that's why it needs you to move the timeline and then bring the object back, and then it will find the distance in 3D, basically. That's what it's doing there right now. And if you don't have a good solution, find another object to do that. So I think this one will work. And we can always go into 3D environment to see if the geometries we're placing, if they make sense. If they make sense, then good news. See, it's wild, but then as soon as you put the second point, they all make sense. You can put more points as well. You can adjust it lightly, and that's fine. So what I'm doing here is just making a new object. When I'm happy, I make it, and that's it. I'm doing another one, bigger one, just to double check if the position of the first one is fine, because the wall seems to be in the same place, the same distance. So see, let's see. So a big wall I just put now doesn't make sense. It's way too far. So that's how you troubleshoot stuff and see if it makes any sense. And then you fix stuff and you can get better results. Let's see if this one is a little bit better. No, it's too bad. So good, fine. Let's do another one. And then eventually I'll build the whole environment. Not this hundreds of small pipes and blocks, but the main objects. Yes, there is a nice tip there. If you hold Shift, it will align your new geometry to the depth of the one you are just moving your mouse in front of. So if you click Shift, it will do that. But see, it can be very dramatic sometimes and very annoying. So so I just decided to extend that one. If you switch from the align mode to the edit mode, I'll just extend that geometry there and see, bake it. Let's test it. See, much better. So now it shows me that I can actually extend the ground floor a little bit, because the ground floor was not done inside of the model builder. It was just created from the camera tracking. And because the world space is the same, as soon as I create my pillars in the model builder, they match with the position of the ground floor. This also shows that this is not far from a good solve. So anyways, I'm gonna continue to build stuff, and the process is basically the same. Yeah. And then I'll move a little bit, see, slide it back into place, and you'll find that sometimes it's not 100% matching. And I see the pillars here, they have like a wood frame around, so it's kind of a work in progress construction of a type of thing. Maybe that's why they are not 100% straight, who knows. So the task here is to practice building the environment, and then we'll see what kind of information you can get out of it. And it's a lot you can make your life much easier to do a lot of stuff, and you can also do all fun stuff. See what's happening here. I'm trying to extend the points, and they're going in the like slightly backwards, looks like. Why? Because there is a little bump on the wall, not a little bump. See, it's going back. It's not making sense. There is a little like a little, I don't know how to say, but looks like the wall goes a bit behind, a bit to the left, and then there's another wall. So it's two walls, slightly in a slightly different angle. So I'm gonna try to do it right now with cubes instead of cards, because I want to get that a little area there. And this is also going to be a bit tricky. I'll have to test this a couple of times if I remember correctly, because I did not record this audio all at once. I did the video a while ago, and now I'm doing the audio. But if I remember, it was a bit annoying, but eventually it did work, which is good. So that's what I'm doing here now. Right? Let's move a little bit, push it back, and it should stick. Yes, it's sticking. And then I'll just do the other wall, which is slightly behind. You know, this build is a bit janky, a bit wonky, and that happens. So that's all. It is what it is. So I'm gonna just bake it, stick it there, make if it makes sense. Let's see. So far, it's making sense. It can be big, a bit bigger. So I will go back actually. Edit, whoops, and make it a bit bigger. I try to cheat and move it slightly backwards, and if I remember correctly, I'll see that it's not gonna do what I expected. Yeah, so I'll just do a new wall, and that's it. Okay. Yeah, so I'm dealing with Nuke's not responding well. Very annoying sometimes. So now it's back. Okay. Right, cool. So let me see if I deleted the other geometry. No, not really. So let's just do build another wall. And that's it. So this one can be a card, because I don't have that little corner anymore. And right. Okay, nice one. So I think I'm gonna go to edit and extend the sides. Whoops. Yes, on the right axis, please. Yeah, beautiful. So let's see. So that's kind of what makes sense, but it's not touching yet. So I'm gonna tweak this stuff and make it really touch there. Yeah, let's go back to align mode. Whoa, yeah. Let's see if it will follow that edge. It means like that's like it's working. Let's see. Yep, see, so it's a little wall slightly behind the other one, but it's there, which means it's working. Okay, good. Now we miss the ceiling and the back. That back box can be a bit bigger. The ceiling is also a bit tricky, and if I remember, I had to do it a couple of times because we can't just see any good feature for me to place the ceiling. So I think I'm trying like a trick of moving the ground up. Let's see if the trick will work. It should. Let's see. Yeah, so that's the plan. Let's extend that little box behind this little dude there. Yes, I can make it bigger. Beautiful. All right. Well, seems to be fine. It needs to be a bit taller. See, it's missing a little bit on the top. That's fine. It's easy to fix. So go back to only the one you need and block, make it a bit bigger. And it's full of stuff in front. It's hard to tell. This, but see, there we go. So we have now the basic geometries. We still miss a couple of pipes, like main pipes that we can definitely do. And we can also make the center, one of the pillars, this one here, it's a bit too short. We can go back to the model builder, find that one guy, make it bigger. We have to switch to vertices to be able to edit stuff. And that's it. I think just for, you can make it bigger if you want. The idea is to project stuff on it, so if it goes in, through the ceiling, it should be fine. And then I'll just bake it and replace the actual scene. So the model builder in this case becomes kind of a like a project where it holds the information, and you have the so I'm just looking for the guy. Yeah, this guy. You can also do what I just did here, which is just to make it bigger in Y. That's also possible. Anyways, but what can we do with this? And here I'm just gonna show very quickly what we can do. For example, the Z depth, we can do that. That's very much possible. We can do like fog, all those very obvious stuff. But I'm gonna try to do slightly different stuff. And I'll try to make particles because I'm gonna combine with stuff that I usually have on the channel, and usually they have a positive reaction from people, which is particles, and tricks and stuff like that. And maybe you can even combine with some funky copycat stuff. But yeah, so follow along, and if you guys like this style of me just speaking over the video, let me know in the comment section. If you prefer just music like I had before, one of the videos with just music has the highest number of views, which is wild. So people are just watching, which can be, it's certainly news for me, but And if you guys also like to have like a live one, where I'm actually doing and speaking at the same time, also all good. Let me know if this helps or not. But the idea is to make people feel more comfortable extracting information from the shot. And I feel that sometimes you are working on studios, you just rely too much on what you have in your hands, like when what comes from other departments. If it's a complex match move shot, this is not the case. But if it's a shot like this, and if you need to put something on the wall, instead of doing all funky tracking and stuff, and then doing several defocus for every single object you put there. You know, this kind of stuff that eventually makes creates a giant script full of points that you can make mistakes. I think this will simplify a lot, and I think it can give people more confidence to just produce the necessary information you need to just make it for yourself and finish the shot. So yeah, that's it for now, and let me know what you guys think of this. If you have any questions, that's perfect. Please write in the comment section. If you want me to go more into detail step by step, slowly, that's also good. And I will put all the links of this footage and action VFX, action effects website, and that's it. All right, see you guys on the next one.